those who are actually, I'm not sure how many people are still looking for job or hunting for better jobs. Then we will actually, I'll touch a little bit on the talent exchange portal that is also under the HIP platform. Okay, okay, can we start, everyone?
Yes.
Ole, all right, okay. So in 2022, which is next year, which is another 2 months time, right? And actually, what we are looking at is like what employers are really looking for nowadays, right? So remember, like people are actually looking at like if you understand all these things, is like what are people looking for and stuff like that. You can see that the important thing is people are looking at building critical skills and competencies. And a lot of people were asking me, is like, Doc, what is this critical skills and competencies all about? I will actually cover it in a while's time. But if you have this type of the skills and competencies and all, okay, this is actually you are ready for the interview for the future job and stuff like that. And people are looking at like you must have some idea about the organizational design, and also the change management is important. A lot of people were asking me like, Doc, change management is sangat technical. Is no. The answer is like, let me tell you one thing. Important thing about change management is like you are experience change management every single second of your life, right? And let me tell you a little bit about the change management later. And people are actually looking at the leadership benchmarking. So like now they are using global standards and stuff like that to actually look into and also determine your leadership skills, right? And future of work, where we look at like people are looking at, you know, things like virtual working from home, right? And like if you don't know Teams and you don't know Google Meet and stuff like that, these are the things that is unacceptable, right? So the future of work is like, one is like you should be able to, at the end of the day, you should be able to know the collaboration tools out there. You should be able to understand at least the basic of like what this whole industry revolution all about, right? And when people ask you about blockchain, when people ask you about big data, when people ask you about stuff like robotics and stuff like that, you cannot. In 2022, I'm saying it's like if people, you go on the interview, people ask you about this, you cannot, or it is unacceptable to say that I don't know. Okay, right? So these are the things is like you need to know, right? And then the diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this is something that is something that nobody has ever thought about until lately. That people looking at like, what do you mean by diversity, equity? What do you mean by inclusion? So any one of you understand what this whole diversity, equity all about or not? Fellows, hello, good morning. Tahu tak? Semua diam-diam ah, semua
Please
diam-diam.
enlighten us, Doc. Please enlighten
Semua
us.
tahu tak tahu. Okay, tak apa. So most of the time is understandable. A lot of the time people who don't know this, but like during the interview session or during the discussion session, people will touch on this. Diversity means like it is the whole thing is like you need to have multiple groups of people. And like you need to have the equity means like it's actually the whether you are male and female equity. Importantly, is like a lot of time like now female equity and stuff like that to run the organization and things like that will need to have that the mixture of people and the culture, okay, and also the equity in terms of whether this is a young man, old man, young girl, old girl, or something like that. Okay, it must be everybody must be treated equally. All right, so that is the thing is like something that we will have some form of content in the HIP Persipio nanti, right? So anyway, this is something that that you see, like important thing is like when you actually find all these words and these are the keywords, right? And if you want to learn something and stuff like that, it is important that you need to know where to find it. You need to know where are the content, and you need to know that before my conversation with I mean in the global arena, and my conversation with anybody in town or something like that, I need to actually in a way understand this type of the keywords that people will be talking about. Okay, right. If you look at it, it's like a lot of the time, right? How the whole ecosystem and how the whole landscape of the whole business has actually changed. And then in 2022, we are looking at most of them, we are looking at business transformation. When people are talking about business transformation, you see that it's up by 11%. And this actually been contributed by the whole COVID pandemic, right? Exercise and stuff like that. Improve operational excellence is always been there. But if you look at it, it's like transformation, business transformation. Anybody knows like anytime when you look at the business transformation, what do you think is the most glaring thing that happens during the COVID pandemic? Online digital marketing, right? People are one is that people started buying online because they don't want to go and buy their stuff in the shopping mall or things like that anymore. People are looking at like how to advertise their product and things like that online. People are actually looking at like how we be able to link up with the logistic company so that Food Panda and stuff like that. You see that these are the whole transformation that requires to happen. Then when you go and start talking to people out there and stuff like that, these are the things that you need to know, right? Online digital marketing, business digital marketing, online, everything is online, right? And this is how that you are using technology. Okay, and you see that the next bar, you can see that it is like growing the business. If you don't have the transformation and a business transformation mindset, all right, you will not be able to grow your business. You will not be able to have your innovation for success, and you will not be able to even look at like how you're going to improve your operational excellence. Because if you don't know technology now, right, or you don't know the whole landscape of the whole revolution is taking place now, then you will have a challenge. One is like to stay relevant in the job. Two is to ensure to know that you will not be the selected one. So remember, all these keywords are your skills that you need to upskill. All right. You see, operation optimize costs and stuff like that, and manage risk and regulatory demands and something like that. These are all already become less discussed about, which is of course in any other company they'll look at how to optimize the cost. You see, the important thing is like if you know the whole business transformation, you know the technology, and technology out there is now is extremely cheap now, right? And that's why when you use technology and you'll be able to automatically, it goes into optimization of the cost. Okay, a lot of the time when people are asking you is like, hey, you want to use the technology, thing is like, it's going to be a dollar sign. Thing is like, it's going to increase my cost. And things is like, it's like, hey, I need to buy additional investment and stuff like that. But you see that people are actually looking at now mass production. Things are going to be cheap. Trust me, right? Last time when we look at the laptop and all these things, it's about like 10 of thousand. Now it can be 3-4 thousand. People are looking at Fitbits as like cost is like last time is like about 2-3 thousand, and now Fitbit actually it has about like 400-500 ringgit, and it will be able to capture your health data and stuff like that. And these are the additional costs that actually been actually embedded into the apps and stuff like that. All right. So remember, you always have to remember the thing is like you need to have some form of the skills and also some form of a knowledge in terms of the technology that is actually coming to you. I'm going to repeat here. IR revolution is real. When we say the word revolution, right, ladies and gentlemen, right, there's no turning back. It is like you have to move forward. You have to live with it. Like now, COVID-19 is a revolution now because it's a pandemic, and we have to live with it. And then by taking care of ourselves, right? So it cannot go back in time and say that, hey, I want to U-turn and all. No U-turn. It is actually a one-way street already. So you all have to live and be skilled, okay, relevant to the whole IR revolution that it's looking at. When people talk about big data, when people talk about robotic, when people talk about artificial intelligence, augmented reality, people talk about blockchain and stuff like that. These are the words that must be in your day-to-day vocabulary. Okay, any questions so far? So people are looking at, like, I go very quickly, I think, because the time will be rushing. So remember, every employee are expected like to work remotely, or at least understand how to work remotely, at least knowing that what are the ethical part of it is like in terms of work remotely during the virtual session and stuff like that, how you will be able to communicate and see that, ensure that, you know, it will be very different, right? Looking at people's body language and stuff like that on a face-to-face is very different from the virtual. A lot of things can actually be covered, right? From the belly on top, right? Belly below, orang pakai shorts ke, pakai apa ke, you know, that is beside the point. So you never know, right? But that, what I'm saying is like, you actually have to see that how you'll be able to, you must 100% sure that you, when people ask you, you know how to work remotely. If you have said the answer is no, you will not be selected. All right, or you will not be able to go forward and things like that. So remember, these are the issues, right? And these are the some of the rising turnover. Like when we look at the competition for talent, you can see that 48% of them are actually very concerned that the employee turnover in the next few months. You see that the dropout rate is very high, right? And people are looking at like the whole people also looking at how persistent you are, how resilient you are. Please just when I stress those words like resilience, persistence, ownership, and things like that, and this is something that we will actually test you on when we actually meet up with the candidate and things like that. So you must have, even kalau lah tak ada pun, you kena act on like you have that, right? And people will ask me, apa tu dog resilience, apa tu perseverance, apa tu ownership and things like that, right? So I will come to that. And then what I'm saying is like, you have online learning in a while's time. I will give you a demo on the HIP Percipio, and this online learning, you type all those keywords and you'll be able to understand, and very quickly, 5-10 minutes, you'll be able to pick up all these words. You'll be able to learn all these things that, and you'll be able to converse almost immediately when it is required, right? So, and then you are saying that a lot of people ask you, right, what is day? Day, yeah? Not day, okay, day. Okay, this is actually what we call this diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is a very a word that people are actually looking at. And remember, a lot of people do not know this, right? And like this is something that you have to understand the whole, that why you need the diversity. Like it's like in terms of in a company, it cannot be like of one race. It must have a a mixture of race, a mixture of gender, a mixture of different people on a different background, right? And also like to include them into that, to ensure that nobody is actually left behind. Transparency is very, very important, and also to ensure that these people actually will not be marginalized, right? So that is something that people are looking at. And when you able to see that these are the things, and remember, these are what people are looking out there, right? So you see that the critical skills competency, remember, 59% of the HR leaders or people are looking at that how good are you in terms of critical skills, in terms of the competencies, right? And then the next question is where do I get all these? Okay, I'll show you in a while time, right? And remember, most of the time, 40% of them, they actually says that it is like they can't even follow the trend. Means like the skills are so fast, it changes almost like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there will be like hundreds of thousands of apps will be delivered every minute in the world, right? That overtake the one after another. The revolution, that means the evolution of the system, apps, and whatever, right? It changes so fast, right? And like sometimes the technology and all, people cannot keep up the skills. People cannot even give you that kind of a knowledge that fast, right? So it's like that's why I think in a way it's like bila dah belajar ni kan, then next thing you know that in another second, something new, some new apps has come, and these are the things that are looking at. So you have to be very fast, and that's why you need to have some content that actually can change us as fast as overnight, so that you will be kept updated, and the skills that you're changing will be updated every day, almost every day. And there will be a AI system to come. You need to have an AI system to come and tell you, artificial intelligence system to come and tell you, hey, there's something new here. Every week there's something that you need to learn every week, and these are the thing is like, these are what we call it as a continuous engagement in learning, right? And this is what you get in this HIP Percipio. In a while time I will show you. Yeah. So, and you see that nobody actually could predict the skills. Everybody will ask me, I'm in the talent development, doc, what are the skills you think that is relevant in a year's time, and in your relevance in the 2 years time, 3 years time? I can tell them that it's like, I'm so sorry, I'm not a fortune teller here, right? And even the fortune teller cannot keep up to date, or track the changes or the skills that is actually required in the future, because the future changes every minute, every second, or every day. Okay, so most of the time you see that a lot of people were saying that, like the technical skills and all the know-how, and like employer needs more skills. You see, like 6.3% of the annual increase of the total skill required just for one single job. Every annual increase means like the skills that is required will increase 6.3% in any single job. And you see that new skills that you are not in a job, please do not be comfortable if you only know one skills. One, you need to multitask. Two is that you need to have multiple skills and knowledge in you so that you'll be able to converse intelligently. It's no longer like 30, 40 years ago that you only know one skill. Key in data, key in data. And then the thing is like now, you see that key in data is no longer required. These people probably would not be able to have the job because everything is QR code, right? Remember QR code, scan and just all the data goes in, right? So what do these people do? If they need to do it, if I'm intelligent enough, I'm an data entry clerk or something like that, I should be actually looking at like, hey, how this data actually flow, how this data is actually collected, how this data is actually been analyzed, how do I be able to visualize or present the visualization of this whole data, right? So that I will be able to have one more level more intelligent, okay, than the rest of the data entry clerical job. Okay? Ya, halo. Ya, ada apa-apa soalan? Okay.
Someone forgot to unmute, to mute themselves.
Yes, okay. Itu nanti kena. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's very interesting that you mentioned about people doing data entry, they are replaced by technology and all that. But it's not not about replacing, but it's more about giving they are free them from to do other things more
Correct.
valuable.
It's actually something more intelligent.
Yes.
Something that that's why the whole skills paradigm shift is very different. No, it's actually what I'm trying to say, Quincy, here is like, you see the clerical data entry club, they know that they're going to be obsolete because the machine can actually take place can take that. You see. So that's why, but you see that you have to also understand to these people, this data entry club, their gaji is not that big and stuff like that. And it's like, how are they going to learn and things like that. It's like, doctor, you kata lah nak ini, nak itu, and all these things, right? But the problem is like how they're going to get where they're going to get the source and get themselves trained in that sense. So again, here I'm saying is like now learning is so accessible, right? Like 𝗧𝗫𝗏𝗡𝗡𝗏, it is so accessible. You can learn anytime, 24/7. You can actually log into your mobile. You can actually learn it as when required. So it is not expensive, and like it is also Quincy, just for information, with this whole partnership and all. Okay, I ada iklan sikit tapi it's not so iklan lah. I think HIP HDC has also heavily subsidized this whole access on this HIP platform, Persipio platform ini, so that everybody is can afford, okay, in logging in and get themselves upskill, okay, according to their time and convenience. Okay. So, okay, another thing I just go very quickly is like people, that the whole structure talent management around is actually on the skill, is no more role. That's why I say, Quincy, clerical clerk and all these things is a role. I'm supposed to enter data correctly, so no more wrong data, and this thing and all is no longer there anymore. You need to have the skills. It's like in terms like my skills in data management, my skills in like, even if I say I'm a clerical clerk and all this, so what? Because like in other time, like I can do something online to make myself a data analyst, to make myself a data scientist. Why not? Right? So my background is medical doctor, yeah. So now I'm actually talking about a lot about the whole IT revolution and all this. I learned, okay, through this whole platform, okay, that's available. Today I'm talking on the whole skills and stuff like that, and I need to actually speak and use the lingo, right, on the HR lingo. I need to use the skills on the IT lingo. I need to use the skills that is like, which is like, you know, the whole skills and things like that, that on the market, on the data and things like that. So that's why we need to do that, right? Okay. So a quick one to go through, right? And remember, people can go fatigue, right? And you say that a lot of the time, when the changes actually taking place so fast, and people we need to perform and things like that, you see that they will go fatigue. They go fatigue. They go. They will not. Their morale will go down, right? The whole self-esteem will go down and stuff like that. So that's why when we look at it, it's like if you continue to change so fast, you get fatigue and so fast and all this. So that's why you say that, oh, you get frustrated because the changes is so fast, technology is so fast, I cannot catch hold of it. So the most important is like just in time learning is very important. The time when you was like, tomorrow I'm going to talk about blockchain, next day I'm going to talk about data, third day I'm talking about robotics and stuff like that. I'll just go to the website, go to the Persipio platform, and then just type the words. Let me understand quickly and what is this all about. All the videos, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and stuff like that. It's not too long, right? And that's where you'll be able to catch hold and of the thing. If you want to assess yourself, hey, how am I good at this area and that area, you can always do your assessment, self-assessment through that platform as well, right? Okay, so remember, as I've already said, that the whole change is a day-to-day change, is no longer year-by-year change, right? And you have to understand that you must also focus on the moment of truth. Means like, yes, people will say that, Doc, boleh ke saya pergi ke YouTube ke Google ke? Boleh, right? As long as you must ensure that the source come from a very trusted area, and you must remember that the source is actually other credentials, and also like been endorsed by certain SME and things like that, right? Because Google or even like Google or some other online learning product, a lot of people dia pakai macam daruk aja. That means like they just dump everything inside. Nah, you do what you want. So there's not validated. So sometimes you boleh jadi a bit of like ajaran sesat sikit lah, right? And then you get confused and stuff like that. So remember also, like, you also have that please, when you want to actually do some form of a changes and things like that, you must have a team cohesion. You must work as a team. You cannot work in silo, right? And then you will make the changes more fun and things like that. And that also will say, how am I going to communicate with the team? How am I going to talk to the team? How am I going to, you say cohesion, how am I going to get the team together? How can I actually speak so influentially that I can gather the team and all these things on my own, right? So these are the keywords I'm again stressing on. So remember, so the whole increase the workforce health overall is actually, and how we're able to drive the word, I'm going to use the word again, resilience, right? So that means like you will have a better workforce and also the higher performance. We must have that attitude of resilience, right? And how to be able to sustain and grow the performance, right? Without damaging the health of the workforce, right? So we have to understand that, right? And we have to see that how we're going to balance the work-life balance. We have to see that how we are able to see that what are the burnout level, what are the stress level, and things like that. And the psychology in terms of collaboration, speak, okay, and also like innovatively and responsively, okay. So I think for this, when we look at it, remember, most of the time, I think you all can raise your hand if you all agree to me, right? Just raise your hand. After that, you raise it down, yeah. But otherwise, I don't know whether it is a question or is it like you raise your hand. How many of you are actually not clear of your career path? And I don't know how to start, even like the steps to advancement. How many of you? Hands up. Banyak hands up ke down? Right? How many of you actually like you don't see your senior, and you don't see your superior and all these things except for once a year? Six, huh? So a lot of people say like a lot of time like I don't even approach my senior leader. One is that maybe you takut. Second is like maybe they don't have time for me. Only time masa pun itu like once a year, probably during the assessment time lah. KPI, you dah terima ke tak? And how you want to do this and things like that, right? And like how many of you actually have a mentor? I would say that, okay, raise your hand. Ni kalau boleh dapat hadiah. Raise your hand that how many of you actually have a mentor that has 24/7 and then continuously jaga you all the time in terms of career support? Ada orang tak? Kalau ada orang, saya bagi hadiah cepu mas. Tapi nanti I kena tahu 24/7 punya mentor ya. Ada? Tak ada? Memang tak ada pun. Ni tak ada orang, tak ada. Ni memang kalau ada, I will go and sembah kepada that mentor tu.
24/7 total ada, Dok. In total 24/7.
24/7 in total. Oh, in total tak boleh. 24/7 a day. A week. Every day, every week, 24 hours. Right? Even when you are sleeping.
Okay, Doc, I think we have a question.
Yes, sir.
From Miss Amalia Atika. So her question is, what can fresh graduates do to fulfill the requirements needed to get a job placement? Because nowadays employers prefer a specific job experience. So yeah,
I would say that I think Melia, is it?
Amalia.
Hi, Amalia. I think it's a very good question, Amalia. I think you all always fresh graduates, memang very, very challenging to find a job, because like now with a lot of retrenchment, unemployed, people will tend to get people that actually have like so-called experience. And like you are actually competing with people yang sudah hilang kerja 3, 4, 5 tahun tu, and then you will be like, hey, am I able to compete or not? You see, again, I'm telling you all is like, in a way, when I say that you need to have the competencies, skills, and knowledge. If like a person who actually, whether they have 3 years, 5 years experience and stuff like that. But if I'm a HR manager, I will recruit the members. I don't want to see your experience, yeah, because that maybe the experience, maybe the current skills is no longer relevant. Remember, I tell you that it changes every day, right? So that's why what I would actually look is like how perseverance you are. That means like how consistent you are, that your attitude of wanting to learn, your attitude of wanting to change, your attitude of like whether you want not, how positive you are, right? I have just spoken to one of the HR the CIO of Asia, right? I don't quote his name, but I was just saying that he was just telling me that, Doc, skills is the experience is not so important. I want to actually assess this particular person, that whether he wants to learn the skills or not, whether he has that stamina to learn the skills or not, and whether he has that stamina to drive the changes or not. See, that's a difference. If you can show and exhibit this during the interview and all these things, yeah. Amelia, you there? I tell you that you will get the job. Okay, Amelia, did I answer your question?
Oh, yes, yes. Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So another thing is like we'll look at, I think, the lead, the manager. Okay, this is actually the part, and it's like you need to have some form of empathy, whether you're a manager or not. Even like when you come to me, it's like, well, I want to see that whether you have that empathy or not, you have that passion or not, whether you have the mindset of like supporting other personal needs or not, whether you actually if you know, like whether I want to know also that how huge your capacity is, like whether you are ready to be overloaded or not, and then whether you can actually, importantly, to see that whether you can actually find the time, okay, to learn or not. A lot of people were saying that, hey, I don't have time to learn, I'm so exhausted after work and stuff like that. But people do not know that almost half day of your time, right, are actually for what? Number one, waiting for your bus, waiting for a train, while in the train, while and you gonna stuck in the jam, correct? Or maybe like for the husband, waiting for the wife to do makeup. Betul? And these are the time that you can actually steal from, right? To upskill yourself. Okay, bring up the mobile instead of looking at the Korean series, Korean, drama or something like that. Just go to the go to the handphone and just click hip.percipio, and you can actually learn 5 minutes, 10 minutes while waiting for bus, half an hour while you're stuck in the jam or things like that. So these are the things that you can actually have that unconscious free time, right, to learn, right? And this is where I just want to share my personal experience. It's like, this is how I steal my time to learn. That steal my time to actually to access to the knowledge hub that is actually provided by the management. Yeah. So okay. So remember, pandemic, as I said, like it is already a disruption. People are expected to work remotely, expected to know how to work remotely. People are expected how to use data, right? And people are actually expected to know, okay, the social safety and things like that, and also the wider use of a worker, which is actually how we actually can break down the group of people. People needs to know is like critical skills are no longer synonymous to role. Remember, critical skills can change almost every time, right? And remember, role is fixed. JD, job description, satu, dua, tiga, and all this. No, this whole thing, it has to be very fluid now. It's very agile. You can actually, your job description and all this can actually change almost every day, like we changes our clothes, right? Okay, employers need to find as a how to actually to be more humanizing, human perspective, yeah, ada perasaan sikit, right? And it's not just like okay, enter data, enter data, okay. So and the whole thing is like, remember, again, I'm touching on the word resilience. Resilience macam semangat yang tak putus asa tau. That is resilience, right? And also we need to actually know how to handle crisis. Cannot be like, oh, manager baru boleh handle crisis, manager tell me what to do lah. No, it has to already cut across already. how to actually to manage the crisis that is happening in anywhere you are, right? Even in the car, yeah. Okay. So so remember the future work a lot of the time, okay, that will be like you can actually craft using the following process. You need to see the trend. Now, what are the skills that is actually required? Look at the trend, look at the market out there. What are the people are looking? What are people are talking most about? Right? And you can see that you can even go to the Google and actually to search like the most talk about words and things like that. They use the AI and stuff like that. So if you already have if you say, oh, I don't have time for this and all this, let the AI do the job. HIP Percipio, it has an AI. It will have a trend analysis. It will tell you that what are the latest technology. It will tell you what are the latest changes that is taking place, and it will also tell you that where to learn, how to learn, what are the content, okay, to learn, right? And also that you have scenario creation. So in a way, right, Percipio is one, is like it all is not just like I'm giving a lecture now and I record it and I'll put it in there and then you belajarlah apa yang Dr. Peter ni nak cakap, whether he cakap dengan nyenyak ke untuk you tidur ke atau this one, they don't care, they just put everything inside. But scenario creation is like, it is actually scenario based, that is acting to actually let you, hey, yeah, this is actually happening in my place. So you'll be able to actually capture more of the whole scenario and actually you learn better. So, and it's actually the future of work in terms of a strategic planning. So remember, you must have a strategy. You must know how to plan your day and must know how to plan your team and things like that. So planning, agile planning, right? It's actually very, very important. That agile mindset. A lot of people are asking me, hey, apa ni agile? Okay, go to Percipio and then you will learn what is the whole agile mindset is all about. Okay, so I think this is actually a very busy slide. My apology, but what we want to say is like, remember, there will be a lot of potential that is actually lumped into this combination and all these things. And like, remember, you must also include like not only the technology, you must include the social, you must include the labor changes that is actually taking place. So everything you must see in as a package and not just like technology saja, yeah. All right. So you must have come with the hard skill, the technology. It must come with the soft skills, must combine together. And then this will equals to hard skills, HEART skills. Okay. So the hard and the soft are equals to the heart, jantung, bukan hati. Hati is liver. Okay. So diversity, I will skip this, but remember, this is actually when we're talking about the people who are actually like the male, female must have the equal gender basis, and then it must have be the ratio, the minority and the majority must actually mix together so that we will have a harmonized structure and organization that we are looking at. And then we are looking at like how we will ensure that this whole thing is like to ensure that the transparency and things like that, that we will not go on the biasness and stuff like that. So important is like, this is what the day is all about, DEI is all about, that you can actually go into. There is a journey that we can actually go into the platform, right? Okay, so any questions? Well, before I go to the system demo, any questions so far?
If you have any questions, please raise your hands or just type it in the chat box. And just to share with you, Doc, no pressure. We are 11 o'clock now, so you've taken
I know, okay.
45 minutes.
5 minutes,
so, okay. Maybe we'll just try to limit to another 10 more minutes, if it's
sure.
That's okay.
Okay, all right.
If everybody's okay.
Sorry, my apology. I think that's what
I mean, it's an interesting topic, Doc. So I know I can understand your passion in this.
Yeah, thank you. I said, okay, Quincy knows me. It's like, okay, this one is like when you go into the HIP, just type the HIP, and then you go into I look for the HIP platform, and then you just actually, once you have signed in, you already have the account. And when you look at it, it's like, where do I see HIP Percipio? This is go to the strategic partner, right? And then you will see that there's a Mars Airline, SME Expert, and this one, did you see this, hip.percipio.com? And if you see this, you can just open the apps. So once the app is actually opened, right, you can actually go into this, what we call it as the hip.percipio.com punya platform, where you can actually learn all this. So one is like the difference between the generic product and this HIP product is actually, it will has all, they all are the HIP professionals, right? It will actually have a source of knowledge or a hub, knowledge hub, where it actually has all the halal content that is actually relevant to you people, right? And one is like you can have whether halal in terms of halal on food management, halal on manufacturing, halal on finance, and things like that. This is where you can actually refer to this particular platform, right? And you can see that, remember I was telling you about here, you go to the library, and then you see that you have the Aspire journey on the business skills, and you see that all the skills that I mentioned, right, that I mentioned there is already there, right? Remember I was saying about resilience, I'm saying about customer experience, customer journey. We're looking at like marketing in digital world. Remember, those are the words: inspiring, engagement, and resilience. Nampak? So if you go into this, you can actually go, and all this content is already curated by the expert. So you don't have to be worried. You have the content that is actually, all these are the expert that is like 20 years experience. And all you need to do is like when you click here, you can see that you want to leading like a change management, a part where they actually ask you, right? So you can see that you can actually go into leading change, and then all this video that you can, that is already a part that you can learn. And you see that all the videos are nothing more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and so forth. And after you have passed the exam, you can actually take the test. And once you take the test, you pass the test is 70%. You take as many times as possible is okay, but the question and answers will be different, or it's actually arranged in a different manner. And once you have passed, you can actually go into, you can actually get what you call it as a digital badge. And these digital badges are the badges that is accredited internationally, globally. You can use this digital badge to use for your interview and stuff like that. And like and all this actually you can even link it up to your social media like LinkedIn and things like that. So if you can, it will also give you a e-certificate if once you have passed. So remember, you have a digital badge for every course you take. There are about 8,500 courses, 25,000 books there, and you can have 13,000 of audiobooks that is actually available, right, for you to actually explore. And you will say that, hey, so many lah, how can I remember? How can I learn? So just type whatever, learn just on time when there's a pressure, when you need to teach, when you need to actually convey the message or to some time, you can actually use this, right? Let's say if you want, remember we call it as diversity, right? Remember I say, you say, hey, I don't know this lah. Many people say they don't know, right? So you see that there are 5 Aspire journey that is actually cost that touch on diversity, right? You can actually learn this, and you can even check whether am I a beginner or intermediate or expert. That is the thing, or for everyone. And you have a training credit as well, right? And you want to sit for maybe PMP project manager role or something like that, you can actually get the points from here, right? So in a way, you can actually see that, or you want to go on the physical or technical exam or things like that, you go into Google, you see that you want to go on professional Google cloud data architect, or even the data engineering, you can always sit for all this. Once you take the test and all these things, you can actually link it up to the LinkedIn. Okay, I can just show you how mine looks like. Okay, and all right, and you see that these are the digital badge yang saya dapat. Okay, ini boleh tutup dulu. Okay, and like it will actually tell, every digital badge will tell you that what are the things that you are doing, and people are looking at this whole LinkedIn thing, yeah. And if you have a certification already, license and certification, you see that you'll be able to embed it here, and people will start looking for you. right? Trust me, Amelia, bagi banyak-banyak ini, banyakkan ini, right? And the thing is like all this content and all this, like let's say I got the 𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗧𝗧 kan to have that all this certification and all these things is all in a very it's all accessible for you all, right? Now the question is like, Doc, how do I get access? Register to HIP, and once you have registered to a HIP members, go to here, and then like you have to click, and then you have to inform and say that, hey, I'm interested in this HIP 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, and like automatically as a member, HIP will be able to give you all extremely low discounted rate lah. Okay, out there, let me tell you, if you're buying on an individual basis, or even if you're buying on a corporate basis and all this, it is more than 1,000 ringgit for this access, right? But I will leave it to, you can send your query to the HIP team. I think the price is almost, Hamizi, if I can review the pricing and all these things, is as good as almost 70%, around 70% discount, right? Okay, I only have 1 more minute. All right. Okay, so these are the things that we are talking about on the PCPO, and this one is the platform, the area that you can actually upskill yourself at any time, anywhere, any device. People are telling me, hey, Apple boleh ke? Boleh. Huawei boleh ke? Boleh. Semua boleh. All this is like, all you need to do is just install it into your handphone or even to your laptop. Okay, it is like it is actually mobile phone agnostic and things like that. So now lastly, okay, for you all, Amelia and things like that, I will just touch quickly on this. Is like, remember, if let's say you are looking for a job, right? So important is like here is where you can also register yourself in the talent exchange platform. Meaning to say, is like once you actually sign up as a job seeker, you'll be able to see that we will pick it up. We will actually do the matching for you, and then if there's anybody who actually looking for your job match and stuff like that, you will actually be able to eligible for this whole thing. This is actually in collaboration with the Selangor Kerjaya. If you all heard of it, okay, it is like, we will do the profiling. We will let you know that what is your behavior, your preferences and all these things, how is this matched to the job. We will train you fully on like how to do the CV, how to do and also guide you on how to actually, what the expectation during the interview and stuff like that. And we will also give you the free PCPO as well, which is embedded here, and also training for 5 days. Right, so this one it is actually another long program that we probably, Quincy will talk about this as another setting. But this is actually, is like what we were saying is like, when you do the upskilling, when you are looking for job, when you are ready with the skills that you actually acquired from PCPO, HIP PCPO, go to talent exchange and then register yourself so that you'll be able to get either a higher paid job, more permanent job, or even like those who are for you all students, you all want to go into this you can always just register yourself, provided one is that you are Selangorian and the other one is like you actually reside in Selangor and you are willing to work in the Klang Valley, and that's about the minimum things. But when the talent exchange were expanded with HIP later, so it will be open for other states and stuff like that. So I think that's all for it. I apologize for the extended time, and thanks Quincy for allowing me to have that extended time allocated. Yeah. So kalau you tell me that things like you need me to any questions so far.
Okay, thank you, Doc. I know how passionate you are about this topic. Yeah, I've known you for how many? 6 years now, right? Almost 6 years. More than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, so if any one of you have any questions, please do raise your hand or just fill in your chat box. Sorry. And before that, you can also please, we would like to get some feedback from you. So I've put in a feedback form in the chat box there. So please fill up the chat feedback form as well. We would like to hear from you to see what other topics that we can actually offer in the in upcoming Tea Talks. Yeah, so I think Hamizi has also put his either email address here. If you have any questions, if you're shy to ask, you can just forward it to hip@hdcglobal.com. We will get Dr. Peter to answer if it's related to Awantech and all that. Or I don't know, maybe you want to give your email address, Doc. I don't know if.
No, okay. I think we'll go through. I think it'd be better to go through a single source of email. Will be able to. I think Hamizi will be able to connect to me. But those who actually want to, let's say, subscribe 𝗨𝗪𝗫 and all these things, please go through HIP because at least you will get that subsidized value lah. Yeah. Because every single license is actually subsidized by HIP, right?
All right.
So any questions so far?
Yeah.
Semua diam aja.
I don't think there is any questions so far. Going once, twice. Maybe everybody's hungry lah. Already almost 11:30.
Hey, break. It's between lunch and breakfast, so cannot be hungry lah unless you have not had breakfast.
Okay, so maybe just to close it off, any final words, Doc?
I think the time is actually very short, and I hope that you'll be able to get some form of key messages here. In terms of like the most important thing, your take-home message is actually continuous learning. Your journey will never stop the time when you graduated. So it's actually we must embed that kind of a lifelong learning journey, right? That actually, especially now, with all these technology changes and also the skills that is actually required, is so demanding out there. So we must have, I think HIP has done a great job in like giving this access to the public out there in ever ready. Like, okay, I when I say that 24/7 mentoring, right? You can ask the mentor. I mean that 𝗨𝗪𝗫, I didn't touch on that. 𝗨𝗪𝗫, actually you can actually ask the mentor anytime you want, whether the mentor is awake or sleep. If they are sleeping, then they will answer you through the email. So this is where I'm saying that 24/7 mentor, and nobody can actually give that kind of a commitment. Yeah. Okay. So all the best, everybody. If you have anything, if you want to have like anybody has a challenges in like getting a job or something like that, please drop a note to us so that we'll see that how we are able to help you. And that is our passion, right? In getting everybody to ensure that they actually bring decent halal food home to their family. Okay.
Okay, Dr. Peter, thank you very much. So again, let me humbly ask you guys to fill up the feedback form so we can see what we can do in the future and how we can improve further. So Mizi, any final words from HDC?
Yeah, okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Peter. It's very insightful and fruitful session. Thank you, Quincy. Okay, so to everyone, please register to HIP. And if you want to deliver this session to your friend or your colleagues, we will upload this session to our YouTube channel, Halal Integrated Platform. So yeah, so feel free to browse our social media as well. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all from us. I apologize for going almost an hour, but I think everybody agrees that it has been very fruitful, very insightful from Dr. Peter. So again, I would like to thank Dr. Peter and Awantech for joining us this morning. So let me just again remind you, if you, all of you will get complimentary access to HIP, but if you want to register today, you can go to hip.hdcglobal.com. Just create an account. It's just as simple as putting your email address and password, and that's it. Once you log in, you will need to just update a brief profile. But if, let's say you're a company, we would encourage you, if you're an entrepreneur who has a company, we would encourage you to update your business profile because there are other perks to HIP that comes with being a business owner. So again, please look out for the next upcoming sessions of HIP Tea Talk. Follow us on social media over here. If you can see, with HIP is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So until next time, we hope to see you soon and enjoy the long weekend. Selamat balik kampung.
All the best, and drive
Everyone.
safe masa balik kampung untuk beraya.
Stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Doc.
Yep. Thank you.